Hi, everybody, and welcome back. I wanted to discuss briefly the academic topic of accounting. So, first and foremost, accounting is the language of business. So, if you're going to be a business person, it's certainly a good idea to understand accounting. But from an academic point of view, accounting is a very interesting, diverse, and complex subject. So, a lot of times we hear people talking about hard sciences and soft sciences and social sciences and so on and so forth. Interestingly, accounting falls into both the hard science and the social science. So you may be wondering, well, how is accounting a hard science? And the answer to that is actually pretty simple. The accounting equation is an algebraic equation. The expanding accounting equation is also an algebraic equation. And then we have different components of accounting, such as cost accounting and different financial calculations that are based on algebra. Cost accounting, you can actually even use calculus to determine certain things in cost accounting. So accounting, while a lot of it is just basic arithmetic or basic algebra, it can become very complex. And when you do financial statement audits, you can actually use statistics to accomplish some of the accounting tasks. So from that point of view, accounting is a hard science. Diving a little bit deeper into that, accounting is now becoming a STEM major. Right now, there's federal legislation pending that is going to make it a STEM major pretty much across the board. If I recall correctly, at all learning institutions, all the way from K through 12 through college and university. So right now, presently, certain colleges and universities, accounting is a STEM major. University of Idaho, to the best of my knowledge, it is not, but that will probably soon change. As far as accounting being a STEM major, obviously the math is involved for certain aspects of accounting, and then technology is involved. So for for anybody who's an accountant, as a practitioner, you will quickly realize that it's very technology heavy. So, for example, I work in accounting, and everything I do basically is electronic or on a computer. So I have software for my bookkeeping, I have software for my taxes. Then, because a lot of my clients are remote, many of them are not even in this country, we have things such as WhatsApp that we use, Zoom, email, virtual faxes, telephones. All sorts of technology comes into play, and then there's the whole data storage and retrieval. Taking it a step further, there's a branch of accounting that deals with big data, and data mining uses obviously computers, computer software, algorithms, so on and so forth. So accounting is definitely a STEM subject, and interestingly, the individual who created the double entry bookkeeping system, his name was Luca de Pacioli. He was alive during the Renaissance, and he was closely affiliated with Leonardo da Vinci. So he is credited with being the father of double entry accounting. Now, there's some talk that it was actually the Chinese who came up with it, but Luca Pacioli was the first one who actually published a treatise on it, so he got the credit for it. But if you look at his book is actually a book about mathematics. So accounting is just a portion of his Summa. Anyways, thought you guys might find that interesting. And then as far as being a social science, again, you might say, well, gee, how can that be? Social science or business in and of itself is a social science. So while it's a business major, it's also a social science, and accounting is governed by laws, rules, regulations, so on and so forth. So it is very rule driven. So with financial accounting, we've got GAAP, we've got International Financial Reporting Standards, government accounting reporting standards, so on and so forth. And then with taxes in the United States, we have the Internal Revenue Code, and each state tends to have their own Code of Revenue and Taxation. It might be called different in different states, but basically that's what that is. So law is a social science, and so accounting is a soft science because it relies on laws and rules. So, and as I stated previously, different types of accounting have different rules that they have to adhere to. So for government accounting, there's one set of standards for generally accepted accounting for SEC reporting, and then we have tax accounting, so on and so forth. And these are all things that we will explore more in depth in this Accounting 201 course. However, primarily we're going to look at the GAAP issues, which is generally accepted accounting principles. And in a later video, I'll talk more about GAAP, and I'll put some links on my website to the GAAP page. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys a quick heads up about accounting as an academic subject, and as far as schools are concerned, I've taught accounting a few different places, and depending on what school you're in, what department you're in, they sometimes consider accounting to be an academic subject, and sometimes they consider it to be career technical education. So it really depends on where you're at and where the funding is coming from, so on and so forth. So all in all, accounting is a very, very broad subject matter, and it's one of those subjects where you could get doctorate degrees on both sides of it. So for example, if you wanted to get a PhD in accountancy, you could get a PhD in accountancy, and then on the soft science side, social science, you could get your Juris Doctor, your LLM, and your Doctor of Juridical Science. Really, there's a lot of education that you can get in accounting. It just depends on what type of accounting you want to do. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that. The other thing I want to talk about real briefly is some of the benefits of accounting. So the first benefit is after you get some experience and some credentials under your belt, accounting is one of those subjects or one of those occupations where you can do it from just about anywhere, anytime. So I work out of my house, and I live in California. So not only do I do accounting for a profession, but I also teach it, and I teach it from home. Although most of the accounting I've taught in the past has been taught in the classroom, but it certainly can be taught remotely. And as far as my clients go, I've got several clients that I've never actually met in person just because of the geographical constraints. So I have a big client in Australia, and he happened to be in Austin at the Texas Gigafactory. He is an automation engineer, and so I actually, after having him for a client for 3 years, I flew down to Austin to meet him in person. But we had conducted business for 3 years without actually a real face-to-face meeting. Everything was online using Zoom and WhatsApp. So so accounting is really a flexible profession in that geography doesn't really limit where you're at. Now, obviously, if you're working for a company, they may need you on site in certain accounting positions. That might be completely required, whereas other ones it's not such a big deal. And then the other thing is you can work anytime, day or night. So right now I'm recording this video. It's after 8 p.m. A lot of times I do work in the evening time just because there's fewer distractions and it's easier to get things done. But if I want to work in the morning, noon, night, anytime, I can work any day of the week, including weekends and holidays, or I could work strictly a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday schedule. So accounting is very flexible as far as what your schedule is and where you work from, at least if you're self-employed or if you have worked up to a position that will allow that. The other thing is accounting actually pays fairly well. In the United States, the average CPA makes over $100,000 a year. So if that's important to you and you don't mind working the crazy tax seasons that most CPAs work, you could pretty easily make $100,000 a year as a CPA. I'm personally not a CPA. I'm an enrolled agent. I plan for sitting for the CPA exam after I finish my doctorate degree. But at this point, as an enrolled agent, as far as tax goes, I have all the practice rights that a CPA has. So the earning potential for enrolled agents is really high as well. So if any of you guys out there want to become an enrolled agent, let me know, and I will post a video about what it takes to become an enrolled agent. But the barrier to entry to becoming an enrolled agent is much, much lower than it is to becoming a CPA. So it's something that you guys might want to consider if you're looking to start working as an accountant before you actually graduate with your degree. Because becoming an enrolled agent, an accounting degree or degree of any sort is not required. So for those of you who are looking to get a job in accounting and do it before you graduate, I would strongly recommend that you get your enrolled agent license. The other benefit of becoming an enrolled agent is it's a federal license. So basically, you can work in any state, any country, any territory, any jurisdiction, and the only thing you have to do is keep the IRS apprised of what your current mailing address is. So, for example, if let's say you live in Idaho and you became an enrolled agent and you decided to move to Texas or Florida or Thailand or Europe or wherever, you're still an enrolled agent and you can still do federal tax. Now, the other good thing about the enrolled agent license is I've never come across a tax authority in the United States that did not recognize my enrolled agent license, and I've always been given the courtesy of they will deal with me in a professional capacity. So I've dealt with clients from all different states. I've even dealt with clients that had issues in American Samoa. And when you tell the tax agent that you're an enrolled agent, they treat you differently. They treat you better. They treat you much better than just a regular taxpayer who's calling in. So I highly recommend if you are interested in tax at all, even if that's only be part of what you want to do, to get your enrolled agent license. And then I also certainly recommend you get your CPA license. And depending on where you live and where you plan on living, there's some different routes you can take, and I'll make a video that goes through some of that as well. So anyways, it was good chatting with you guys again, and I look forward to seeing you in class. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.